Hello, everyone. Come on, dude.
I spilled my drink.
How are you? What are you? 10?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh my goodness! Already starting the pod,
Christ.
just spilling alcohol over himself.
It's actually, honestly, all I have is just sparkling water. So
Oh, it's just water. Okay, that's
it's
not
just
a big
water.
deal.
But
Anyways, hi everyone, and welcome to the Gaming Duo podcast. I'm your host for this week, Rob Garcia, and I'm joined by my co-host, the drink spiller himself, Kelvin Rolon.
What's up,
If you
everybody?
guys are new to the podcast, we are the podcast that discusses the latest gaming news, and we have discussions about said gaming news. Kelv, tell me about your week. Tell me what we doing. What's going on? Other than spilling drinks on yourself.
Spilling drinks. I've been working on the video that I posted this week was the Hitman Freelancer review. So check that out if you haven't. Played a little bit of Hitman, obviously, and then just checking out some different what's it called? Checking out some different editing softwares. So I kind of posted this a little bit on Twitter, but I'm transitioning over to DaVinci. I used to use Premiere Pro. I still do, but I'm kind of transitioning over, and I like it so far. So I'm kind of doing that, trying to figure out how to do that. That's why I haven't posted a video of our last episode, because I'm trying to figure out how that works on DaVinci. But yeah, stay tuned.
All right, we are working through some new editing software, so that is what's going on. And I heard you're playing Hitman, so go watch that review of Kelvin reviewing the game. It's a really good review, very, very like quick and gets to the point, which is what we like, right?
Thank you. Yes.
So, is that all you're playing? Is Hitman?
No. So ladies and gentlemen, I beat Metroid Prime finally.
Finally,
You know what I mean?
Christ, that's it.
Dude. All right. I again, if you guys don't follow us on Twitter, or if you don't follow me, obviously, please, if you don't mind. But I do post a lot of my thoughts on Twitter, and what a game, man. Like, I sincerely do love that game so much, because it is a game that I played when I first started, as a kid, when I first started playing games, and I played that game. I could not beat it because I just wasn't really smart enough to play that game. And then now, coming into it 20 years later, finally beating it, it just felt different. It felt weird beating it. I'm like, damn, I accomplished something that I couldn't do 20 years ago. Like, it's a weird thought, but like, it just felt good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that like you didn't beat it when you were a kid and went back in as adult, it just feels like it's like you did it. You did something that you like has been had a hold on you for so long, and you just finally you're like you like checked it off. You're like, I did it finally.
Yes, check it off the list there. So again, phenomenal game. I can't talk about it enough, and I had a great time playing that. Then after that, Destiny. We've been playing a little bit of Destiny here and there, but not too much. But that's it. That's really it so far. What about you?
I mean, we got to give you a round of applause for actually being a game for once. I mean, that's
wow. The disrespect.
I'm giving you a round of applause. Good job, Kel.
Thank you.
Proud of you. Me, I've also been on the Metroid train. I just finished Metroid Fusion on the Game Boy Advance emulator on Nintendo Switch Online, and you have to go play it.
That's my next game to play. I mean, especially very enticing, because you say it was like 5 hours or something, right?
It's so quick. It was like it tells you like how many hours you took to beat the game at the end of the game, and it was like 4 hours and change or something like that.
It took me 15 to beat Metroid Prime, which
that's not bad.
That's like huge. That's like that's like normal. So, but yeah, I'm excited to play that. That's next. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the Gaming Resume, because they actually said Fusion was like different compared to other Metroids in the sense that it is very linear, and they were right. Because after I beat Fusion, I was like, man, I want to get on this Metroid kick. I'm on a Metroid kick right now. So I didn't start Metroid Prime. I started Metroid Zero Mission, which is the second game after Fusion for the Game Boy Advance. Yeah. And this one you should also pick up, Kelv. If anything, I think you should get this one before Fusion.
Really?
This is actually a remake of the original Metroid game for NES.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Question for you: for someone that started off playing Metroid Dread, do you feel like it'll hinder my experience if I play kind of like going backwards a little bit, like playing Fusion and starting from there, or no?
No, because it aged really well. It's a Game Boy Advance game, and I had no problem playing the game. Like I didn't feel like, oh my god, this feels so old, and it felt fine. And I'm thankful because Metroid allowed me to pick up my Steam Deck again. So I'm playing it. I'm emulating it on my Steam Deck. So I was just like, awesome.
My Steam Deck is somewhere. I need to find it, but it hasn't been played often.
So your next homework is to play either Zero Mission or Fusion. So
okay, all right,
yeah. So go ahead and do that. But Kelv, enough about what we're playing. We had the last episode of The Last of Us shown this past week, and a lot happened. It basically, everything happened. What happened in the game, right? It was exactly pretty much like very similar. Any thoughts on it? I know this is kind of like their last episode, so this will be the last segment, but like overall, I guess, what do you think of the episode? And then we'll go into what do you think of the series?
The game.
Oh god,
the game. I'm gonna keep doing
spoilers, by the way, guys.
Spoilers, yes, please. Yeah, the show was phenomenal. I think they really killed it. I can't really say how amazing that transition from game to live action was, right? They did a great job. This episode in particular, they knocked it out of the park, especially the first 10 minutes, right? Kind of giving you that glimpse of like who Anna is, who Ellie's mom is.
Yes.
And seeing how this whole thing kind of started, like from the very beginning, right? I think they definitely made sure that a lot of things that we've played in the game were there. What comes to mind, the draft scene, right? It was kind of like one-to-one. A phenomenal shot, which apparently it's a real giraffe. Everybody but has been saying.
Wait, are you serious? They didn't CGI that thing in?
No, it's a real giraffe, man. It's a real giraffe. So, it looked kind of weird, right? It looked kind of like watching. I'm like, is this real? I don't know. Can't tell.
That's actually hilarious because me and Jess were watching it, and she was like, "Wow, that's really good CGI," and I was just like, "Yeah, it's really good CGI." Come to find out, it's a real
It's a real giraffe, man.
I did not know that. Okay, that's cool.
The way they added these little small hints of Joel becoming, or just Joel letting his true personality, like his true feelings, come out little by little, like I think is fascinating. The little discussion, the little talk that they had just before the whole thing happened, right? The whole big incident where they get kind of kidnapped, sort of, right? Basically Joel saying to her, like, you saved me, right? That hit, like, that was a really powerful moment there. But then things got violent, right? Things got really dark. Things got really like dreadful, and they did not hold back. I feel like this was even like more powerful, more violent than the video game, because seeing Pedro just completely, like, he just looked blank. He just looked completely like just numb and
didn't
just
care.
killing.
Didn't care about anyone else except that one person. Yeah.
But I thought they did a great job. Like that whole scene, the way they choreographed it was phenomenal. So again, phenomenal episode, phenomenal way to end the series. So they did it. Like, they really did it, and they've set the bar, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I think the show is just the best like they complement each other so much, right? They need to go hand. It's like you almost need to do both. You need to play the game and you need to watch the show. You will miss out if you don't consume both pieces of content. I mean, if you don't want to play the game, fine, but you're missing out on a really good game. And like I said, people that weren't into video games, like my girlfriend, she was like, I can't wait for season 2. And
you're gonna have to wait.
You're gonna have to wait. Sucks is that she was like reading something on Twitter, and they were like, "Oh, I feel bad for everyone who doesn't know what's gonna happen in season 2." And I'm like, "Shut up, person, a random person on the internet. Like, be quiet. You're ruining it for people that don't know."
Right. We have a draft killer in the chat here. I can't believe Chazzy from the Side Project said that he once fed a giraffe. And when he was a kid, 2 days later, the news came out that the giraffe died. So, yeah.
All right. So Chazzy from the Side Project podcast murdered a giraffe. Basically, I don't know how he did it, but he did it. All right. Well,
that's what he does.
Well, that's you just change your name to Chazzy the Giraffe Killer.
Chazzy the Giraffe Killer, instead of the the Tyrannosaurus Rex. He has like
Yeah,
the
yeah, it's a
giraffe.
giraffe instead. Yeah. Or he's like
that's
has
nice.
a gun shooting a giraffe. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I thought the show is incredible.
Yeah.
I think they need to, like I said, keep the train going. Like you got to do part 2. And Neil Druckmann said that he doesn't care what people think about part 2. He's like, I'm gonna make the show and I'm gonna leave it. Basically, it seems like he's gonna leave it the way how it is. And
I don't know, man.
I think he's gonna do it. I think he's gonna do
What
it.
do you think is going to change? Because he did say, I don't know if it was in that particular interview that you're referring to, but someone said that it is going to be somewhat different than the game. Whether or not he keeps that big moment, we'll see. But what do you think is going to be different in The Last of Us season 2? Like we know so far, before you start, we know so far that season 2 is going to be broken into 2 parts. So it's part 2 is going to be broken into 2 parts. So what does that do for you?
I think you can't take away that one big part. I don't think the game works I don't think the story works as well if you take away the one big part, right? So that's the most controversial part of the whole game, right? So I think he leaves it in because everyone is like, because what's gonna happen? I could go both ways, because if it doesn't happen, people will be happy.
Yeah.
If it does happen, or if it doesn't happen, like people are gonna get mad. Like they're gonna be like, you're changing the game. Stop changing the game. Stop changing the story.
It has to happen, and maybe not in the beginning. Maybe not in the first 10 minutes of the show. Right.
Right.
I think what they're gonna do is they're going to show, like, you know how what in the game we kind of went back a lot of the times to see Joel and Ellie, kind of like in the middle, in between what happened from part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
We've seen those scenes. I think we're gonna see those in a lot more detail. You know, could they leave? Could they end season 2 with that part?
Do you think that they're gonna do like part of season 2 / part 1 of season 2, whatever? They'll do Ellie's perspective. Season 2 will be Abby's perspective, or you think they're going to do them simultaneously throughout the series? Because again,
I don't like that if they do that.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it, because the whole, what was it?
I think they're gonna. What would really be cool is if we had Ellie's perspective right in the beginning. I think I don't know. Maybe they do Abby's perspective first.
This is the coolest part about having a show, right? Is like you can basically do it almost any way you want, but somewhat stay close to the source material. Don't deviate it too much, or else people are going to get mad. But change it up enough to where like people that have beat the game are like, oh shit, like that was cool. I didn't like add more to the game, add more to the lore that we didn't see in the game. So,
but you didn't answer my question. Do you think they will end season 2 with that scene of Joel?
I think so.
Can you imagine ending the season like that, and then you have to wait another like year?
I don't know if people get super mad. I don't know. We'll see. But we don't want to.
But for those that never watched, for those that never played the game, like imagine Jess seeing that part and then ending it, and then you're like, well, you gotta have to wait a year now to see what happens next. Like she's gonna be like scarred for life.
It could be huge, right? Like it could be, depending on how they play their cards. This could be like one of the biggest TV like surprises, but it's not a surprise because obviously play the game, But I'm excited, and I'm so happy that this was a thing. And last question before we close the book on the Last of Us series, the show. Do you think this show is the best video game adaptation we have currently?
Hands down, 100%. There's nothing that quite beats it right now, honestly.
Yeah, even would you say even like movie, just like everything and just movie and show?
It's just the choreography, just storytelling, everything, man. Everything about this show is phenomenal.
Yeah, it only took a game with like literally the best. I would say the best story in gaming. It only took that to make it do this. Break the barrier for gaming to actually be good in shows and stuff like that. But honorable mention to like Arcane. That was really good, but it's animated, so
true.
Yeah,
it's very, very good.
But live action's hard to do with video games. So, well, guys, thank you for that little series we had with The Last of Us. We will see you when Last of Us Season 2 comes out. last week we had a Twitter poll of you get to pick 2 consoles. You have console A, console B, and you have 10 games on this console, right? So basically, console Rob, console Kelvin, or console Kelvin, console Rob. Yeah.
Yep.
And you can only play those 10 games. That's it. That's forever. That's the only 10 games. And we have the results. We wanted to see who won. So I will list off the 10 games that were on console 1. All right? Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 1, Persona 5 The Royale, God of War 3, Bloodborne, Mario Sunshine, Breath of the Wild, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Kingdom Hearts 2. So that is console 1. It's the only games you can play. Console 2, Rob's consoles, or Rob's games. Devil May Cry 3, Pokemon Soul Silver, God of War, Ocarina of Time, Elden Ring, Metal Gear Solid 1, the Twin Snakes, Final Fantasy VII, the original, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and Persona 4 Golden. So very similar consoles, but little differences. The results were a tie. 50-50.
50-50, man.
50-50.
I'm a little bummed out. I'm like, oh, man. I mean, it's fine. Whatever. It's not a big deal.
I mean, does that mean we both have good taste? Like, people couldn't decide because we're both...
Fair. Yeah. I think we just had really good games on each side, so...
Yeah. So
either way, whichever one you choose, you win.
You can't. I mean, you got Mario Sunshine on one. You just can't. You can't lose if either one you pick. So, stay tuned for more stuff like that on Twitter. But Kelv, before we get into our main topic, which is also about Last of Us, I'm going to do a little switcheroo here with the topics because we just talked about Last of Us. But we'll do some rapid fire news, just some quick ones. You can get early access to Diablo 4 by ordering a KFC sandwich.
That's wild.
Yeah. So
Why? Can someone please tell me why it has to be KFC? It couldn't be Chipotle.
Chick-fil-A.
It couldn't be Chick-fil-A. It couldn't be McDonald's.
Popeyes,
it had to be
Taco
KFC.
Bell.
Popeyes. Like, why KFC? You know what I mean?
Do you like KFC?
Clearly not. I mean, it's fine. It's just like, why would you do something like this?
It's never wowed me. I've never had TFC and I'm like, this was delicious. This was the bomb and this was so good. And like,
quite the opposite, right? You're like,
like a piece
you
of
eat
shit.
it and you're like, I feel like a piece of shit. I feel like dirt.
yeah. So there's a couple sandwiches you can get, right? You could get the Double Down, the Chicken Little sandwich.
Chicken Little sandwich. I love it.
There's a bunch of sandwiches you can get. You have to get them through the app before March 18th. And then when you order to the app, you will get an email that says, hey, here's your code for the beta. I want to get it, but I'm not going to be like at my computer to play Diablo 4. I do want to try the beta. But Chazzy also said from Side Project Podcast, he said, why can't it be something healthy? Why is it always shit food? Because shit food runs America. That's why.
It sells. Shit sells.
Yes. And also, he said, you can't just get the beta action regular without having to get KFC. I think you have to like pre-order the game or something. Like you actually spend money. But both ways you're spending money, I guess. But it sucks. Like I have to torture myself to eat. I got to eat this sandwich and then I got to, okay, whatever.
Some people look at it as a win-win, right? I get to eat a sandwich and I get to get a code. So I don't know.
And it's only participating locations. So yeah, go get your beta code at KFC. I used to live across the street from KFC, by the way. So remember?
Did you eat there?
No, I ate there once because it was like disgusting. Sucked.
Okay.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart could be coming to PC based on a job listing posted. So very, very great game. I'm excited for that one. We have Bayonetta Origins reviews. It's got an 80 on Metacritic, GameStop 9 out of 10, IGN 9 out of 10, VGC 3 out of 5, and Game Informer 3.7 out of 10. That's awesome. I'm glad this game's doing well.
Love it. Love to see it. That is one of the games that I was really looking forward to. So I might pick this up as well, eventually play it at some point, but we'll see.
Let me ask a question. How come you would rather get this game than Bayonetta 3?
I think we talked about this because it just feels like a tiny experience, especially on the Switch. Again, it kind of is giving me the Fusion vibes where it's like, oh, 5 hours? Okay, I can do that. I can handle that. I can do that for a week so and beat it and move on. Say that I beat something, say that I beat a game and move on, you know? So
Okay.
That's what's really, and the art style looks cool. So
Yes, it does. I do have to get Bayonetta 3 still, so I'm slacking on that. I got to play that.
slacker.
Ghostwire Tokyo is coming out in Game Pass April 12th with new content, deeper combat, new areas, and a new game mode. So that's another game that looks really cool, and I'm glad it's coming to Game Pass because I don't think I would have played it if it didn't come out to one of the passes.
It's also coming to PlayStation too. So
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's it for the quick news. We're going to go on to the main topics here. So we're just talking about Last of Us. Last of Us almost had a prequel featuring Ellie's mom. So we said that in the show, they showed Ellie's mom, right? And we never saw in the series. That was never a thing. So that was like those extra things that they're adding to the show that it's almost like DLC, right? for the gamers.
Live action, yeah.
Right. But Neil Druckmann has been talking about the Last of Us prequel game that never came out, but was once in contention for development. Druckmann spoke with Kind of Funny host Greg Miller about the idea of Ellie's mother was nearly a part of the Last of Us prequel. While we don't find out how it's going to fit in a title, such as like, is it going to be part of the existing game? Was it going to be part of like the Left Behind DLC or a product of its own? It's something that could have been. And a quote by him says, there was much more full version of the story that went more back in time that was going to be made into a video game, Druckmann said. Not by Naughty Dog, but by a different game studio. Greg Miller introduced me to that studio, and we talked to him for a while, but it just didn't work out when we were trying to do it. Also, Naughty Dog has chosen its next game, but it might not be The Last of Us 3. So let's talk about this. Would you have loved to get this some kind of DLC like this, or how would you imagine this story playing out?
Well, he specifically says it would have been a different developer, meaning it wouldn't be Naughty Dog. So how would that look like, right? I can't imagine seeing a Naughty Dog game, either prequel, whatever they would like to do, and giving it to the hands of somebody else, having the quality of what Naughty Dog does. It's hard to I'm not saying nobody else can do it, but I feel like it's very hard to find another developer to kind of like reach that point, you know? So I almost feel like this would be a different type of experience, a different type of gameplay. It wouldn't be your typical Last of Us game, right? Shit, I don't know, like a card-based game. I don't know. I'm just joking, but I'm just saying, like, it would be a completely different experience than what we're used to with The Last of Us, because I just feel like it would be a different team, meaning they would probably have different different outlook on things and a different style of what this would look like for a DLC or for, like, you know, a prequel. So I don't think it would kind of follow suit with what Naughty Dog has been doing, you know.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think it'd be a little disjointed and weird if they had someone else do it. I think it has to kind of live. But I did have this idea when I was taking a shower earlier, when I was thinking about this. What if it was like a telltale game, like The Walking Dead, right?
Yes, dude.
That would have worked.
Cool. Yeah, see, and that's exactly what I was thinking about. Something that changes the formula, but still keeps it grounded to what Last of Us is, storytelling, but changes the gameplay, right? So I think that would be perfect. I don't know if you watched the episode of when Druckmann says this. Do they say who was the developer that they were referring to? They don't mention it, right?
They don't mention. They just said, introduce me to that studio. I'm sure we could find it somewhere. It's somewhere in the internet webs, you know. But
who do you think it would have been? If they don't, let's say they don't have any idea, or you know, they don't mention it. Who do you think would have been?
I don't know. I honestly have no idea who it would have been. I can't think of anyone. Again, what comes to mind is someone that developed like the Telltale games, but that's just like me, just like shooting shit at the wall, being like, it would be cool if they did this. But developer wise, I don't know exactly who was the one that picked it up. Do you know?
No, man. I mean, you can do something like Telltales, or you can do something like a drop down kind of like a experience as well. I don't know. Like, there's so many ways that you can kind of tell this story as well. It doesn't have to necessarily be like this like third person action adventure game. So yeah, I don't know who it would have been, but
it could be a side scroller of like you trying to avoid
the Street Fighter Last of Us.
yeah, exactly. So all good Last of Us news. And one last piece of Last of Us, and I promise we'll shut up about Last of Us.
The people
next
love
week,
it, man.
March 28th, Last of Us Part 1 is coming, remake is coming for the PC. So, it's exciting.
So Naughty Dog has chosen its next game. It might not be The Last of Us 3, right?
Yeah.
What do you think would it be? Like a new IP, I would assume, right?
I think a new IP.
So you think, because they confirmed that they're working on Factions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's a different developer working on Factions and then it's them working on the new IP or Last of Us 3? Like it just almost seems like they're not working on Last of Us 3 the way he kind of like explains it.
So Naughty Dog's not really a multiplayer based developer / company. I know they did Factions, but I think they're more up on the board of like single player. Like they want that nice single player experience, that nice cinematic experience. So I think they want to focus more on that. And I think for Factions, they're just being like, we're going to get someone that knows what they're doing with this stuff, and they have the resources and tools necessary to make this multiplayer experience great. Here's all the assets to The Last of Us. But I think we're better suited to give you those campaign type style experiences, and that's I think that's what they're. I don't think they're going to Last of Us 3. What more would you be able to add to the story? Like it's kind of how much more impactful can you be from what we did?
I definitely think there's a Last of Us 3 in the works at some point in the future if they aren't working on it right now. I can't imagine them not continuing the story with just how big Last of Us is right now. Like, there's no way they're just going to stop doing it and just continue the show. You know what I mean?
It's true.
There has to be Last of Us 3.
Yeah, it is a money maker. It makes money.
Sure.
They're going to make it. Yeah. So
yeah.
we don't know when.
We'll see.
But enough about Last of Us. Let's move on to our next news piece of the week. There is a rumor that a PS5 Pro is coming out. You know how I hate these rumors. You know, it takes a lot for me to actually cover the rumor.
This is a big one, though.
It is a big one.
It's a big one.
So according to sources, not only has Sony already been working on the PS5 Pro for some time, but an upgraded PS5 console may be coming soon. Shorter than we thought was actually going to be coming. According to Insider Gaming, the full-fledged Pro tier upgrade to the current PlayStation will be coming sometime in late 2024. So a year and a half we're getting this thing.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Once again, the only truly official bit of information about this is that the PlayStation 6 release window documentation, which suggested that the next mainline PlayStation console wouldn't be out until 2028. That's all we get. We just know that PlayStation 6 is coming out 2028, around that time. They're saying, like, we need some kind of halfway point before that thing comes. What do you think? True, false? Too soon?
It makes sense because this is kind of like the pattern that we've been seeing with previous generations. You would think, right? Because the PS5 came out November 12th, 2020, right? And so it's the halfway point of a mid-generation console. So it makes sense. I think, I foresee that happening because they typically do this, especially last generation, right? Where they had your PS4 and then they kind of did the Pro PS4 and then, you know, again, you move on to the PS5. I can see them changing the PS5 a little bit, making it smaller, maybe increasing or having a consistent 60 frames per second throughout all platforms or throughout every game. And then kind of like blending in the performance versus fidelity kind of thing instead of like picking and choosing which one you want, like you prefer. It's just kind of like, hey, you're getting both. You know, you're not gonna sacrifice one or the other. It's you're getting 60, maybe a higher 60 frames per second, and you're getting you're getting your performance as well. You're getting your fidelity as well. So that's my guess.
Yeah, I think this rumor is pretty accurate because based on like the PS4 before, right? The PS4 came out in 2013. We got the PS4 Pro in 2016. So 3 years we got a new console. So people that are like, "Oh my god, that's crazy that it's coming off a new Pro version of the console already." Well, they did it before. My thing though is this thing. It's in front of me. Fucking huge. It's massive.
Right.
The PS Pro was bigger than the PS4 because do they make this thing bigger, or is it going to be like, or is it going to be the same size and maybe even slimmed down? Like, what do you think? Or do you think we're getting a PS5 Slim?
PS5
like a
Slim.
remodel?
Oh yeah, we're getting a PS5 Slim. It's going to be probably cheaper, but it's going to be better. It's going to be powerful, more powerful than the PS5 that we have currently. I think it just makes sense.
No way.
You
no
don't
way.
think it's going to be
No way.
more powerful?
The PS5 Slim?
You don't think it's going to be more powerful?
Why would they do that? Then why would they come off a PS5 Pro? That's already going to be more powerful than the PS5. I think they come out with the PS5 Slim, which has the same internals as the PS5.
Yeah.
And then the PS5 Pro. Why would they? That doesn't make any sense.
Because what I just talked about, they want to make the accessibility of like having the fidelity and the frames per second something that kind of. What else would they do to improve the PS5? Like,
it's fine the way it is. It's perfectly fine the way it is. What did they do to improve the PS4?
So you're saying they're just reducing the cost of the original OG PS5 so that more people can buy it, is what you're saying?
That's usually what they do.
I don't think so. I think they are going to improve on what we have right now, make it more appealing. And I'm not saying a huge overhaul. Like, this is not going to be a major increase in like, hardware or anything like that. It's going to be like small little increments of improvements that people would like to see. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, you also want to have people that have a PS5 transition over to the PS5 Pro. I think I get what you're saying, because that's what they did in the past, right? But someone like me, would I want a PS5 Slim? Less, like, if it's less powerful and it looks smaller, like, I don't think that would be the case.
Well, it's just the new it's just a new model, right? It's just a new model of what you're getting from the PS5. Like, they're just streamlining, making it more accessible to everyone while reducing the costs. That's what they've always done. Why? Okay, I mean, I'm getting heated about this. This is a good conversation that we're having.
All right.
Let's
I'm about to punch you, man.
Let's take PS5 right now. We got PS5. It's got the internals. It does 120 frames per second, whatever AK bullshit. Then they release the PS5 Pro, right? You're saying they're going to also come out with a PS5 Slim that is more powerful than the regular PS5, but is less powerful than the PS5 Pro?
No. I'm saying they will make a PS5 Pro. Scratch the slim part. It might not be slim. I'm just saying they will make the next mid-generation console that we're talking about right now be like more powerful than what we have right now. I don't think they're going to do the slim and then kind of reduce the cost, make it smaller, so that means it's less. They kind of cut costs somewhere, like cut corners in a way. I think the PS5 Pro will be the Pro version of the PS5. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be a more it's going to be a more powerful console in small aspects, in smaller ways.
So, okay, I'm sorry. So there's going to be 2 SKUs.
Yes. It'll be 2 SKUs.
The way you made it sound like was there was going to be 3. There was going to be the original PS5 we have right now. There was going to be a slim model, which was more powerful than the original PS5. And then there's a Pro model that's even more powerful than the slim.
No. So the PS5 Pro is what I'm assuming will be the slim model, but I don't necessarily know if the slim would be a candidate for this. I just think, what ways will Sony be able to sell this to consumers, right? If you're thinking about going bigger, going better, make it slimmer, make it better as far as hardware goes, as far as like, again, fidelity, as far as like, resolution, all that stuff. But not reduce the cost or anything. Make it, I don't know, the same, maybe a little bit more. I don't know what they would do, but I think this would be a more powerful console than what we have right now.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the point of the Pro, right? Is that it's gonna be a more powerful console than we have.
Right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't think they're gonna come out with the original PS5 and make it have a better console than, like, they're not replacing the SKU with a better console.
No, the PS5 that we have right now, the SKU that we have right now,
PS5.
it would always be here. Yeah, for sure.
When did the PS4 Slim come out? That's what I really want to know, because that would paint a better picture as to like Slim versus Pro versus. So the Pro came out in 2016. The original PS4 came out 2013. The Slim came out in 2016.
Okay.
Oh, so they might do that.
It makes sense.
They might axe the PS5 that we have now and just make it a slimmer model with the same internals.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to think about it too. Like the PS5 just started getting like to consumers' hands. Would they really try to like axe that right now?
They did it last. They did it.
But this is a different time now. Like 2016, people had the ability to buy PS4s. Now we're getting to the point where people are buying PS5s.
And that goes to the pandemic, right? The pandemic halted almost all of the production, all of everything. Basically, we're almost on like a slower time frame right now with everything being released. So,
I don't know, Chazzy.
Chazzy goes. A couple of comments here. Buy our new ship. That's half step for our other one, while we give you the other half step in 2 years before the full step comes in 2 years. 100%. The Slim would replace the original. Exactly what I said. Yeah. So the Slim is going to take away this PS5. Like it's the Slim model will replace the original PS5. That's just history. History is going to repeat itself.
I don't think so.
History is when they show the Pro, when they release the Pro, they'd be like, okay, also we're gonna come out with PS5 Slim, and you're gonna be like, oh,
well, maybe it could happen, but I don't think so. I don't think that's their marketing strategy right now. Again, the only reason why I say that is because it is a different time. Now we have people purchasing the PS5 now, and for them to cut that now, I don't think it would make sense on their end. But I could be wrong. So we'll see.
That's true. All right. Anything else in regards to the rumor, Cal, for PS5 Pro? Okay, first off, you're getting a PS5 Pro?
They have to really sell me. If it's like what I was talking about, hey, you can play your games on 70 frames per second, 120 frames, that's a different story. I'm like, okay, that's pretty nice. Like consistent 120 frames. Remember the PS5 when they advertised it as playing 8K, right? Obviously, nobody had 8K at the time, right. But that's still a thing. Like that you can technically play your PS5 games at 8K frames per second or 8K resolution. You have to have an 8K resolution TV, right?
No one has one. No one has an 8K TV. No one has an 8K TV. So I think that was more of like a grab and look what it can do, and then people are like, oh my god, it's crazy, you can do that, and then no one has an 8K TV.
Which is further validating what I'm saying, right? We're like, if they're future proofing this console, I can't imagine them scrapping it to then make a slim model. You know what I mean? If it can run 8K, but no one has an 8K TV at the moment, they're thinking about the future.
I'll give you that one. That is true that they, for this model, they want to future proof this model, and they're not going to actually do a slim release. They might just rock with this for a while and just do Pro, just based on the economy right now. But just again, I'm going based off of history. What they tend to do with consoles Sony always does a slim model of their consoles. Hell, they do like two versions of slims. Like the PS3 had like three iterations, I think. Of the Slim. So it's just a very Sony thing to do.
Onabi in the chat says, I have a 22K TV. It's nuts. I'm basically the TV. Nice.
Wow. That's actually pretty nuts. Yeah.
It's impressive, man. Yeah, man. I don't know. Is this too soon? Do you think this is too soon of a, like we just talked about, this makes sense because this is mid generation, right? We're saying that the PS6 is going to come out 2028, was it you said?
Late 2024. Oh, no, 2028. Yeah, PS5 6 is late 24.
So history makes sense, right? But do you think with this generation it makes sense? Do you think it's too soon for a PS5 Pro to come out when, again, like I said, people are just starting to grab their PS5s right now?
Yeah, just because I feel like there's not a lot of games. There's not a lot of PS5 exclusive games. So I think them just being like, here's a Pro version of your PS5. Have fun. Yeah. It's just like, and then not only that, now you have to buy an upgraded TV for the most part. Like usually when you want to get the most out of your console, if it's the newest console, you want to get the TV that can handle it, the TV that's going to show you the best graphics. So it's like, it's a very high cost. And how much is it going to cost if they're going to charge anything like they did for the PS5 headset or the Sony PSVR 2? Wow. If it's anything like that, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be like 600, maybe I would say $600 they're going to charge for it. But
I can see that, but $600 is like they want to stay away from the 600 territory because PS3 was like That's
Yeah,
if it's anything like
inflation
PS3
right now, it's not good. People not gonna buy it. Last question before we get off this topic, Kelv. Did you get a PS4 Pro? Did you have one? I don't remember if you did.
Yes, I did. But I don't. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did. I bought one used, not used. It was like
Pre-owned,
gently
yeah.
used.
Okay.
But that was the time where I bought the limited
Gear Solid.
edition Metal Gear Solid 4.
Such a
And
beautiful
so
console.
I didn't want to use that one, so I put it away and I bought the PS5. PS4.
You didn't want to use it because it was just so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. It's gonna cost money later. You know what I mean? Down the line, I'm gonna be rich. When I
you
sell
got the
that
Pro because you're like, I want to see the upgraded stuff.
thing. That's fair too.
To be fair, the Pro was like if you try turning on a PS4 right now, it sounds like a freaking jet engine. That thing is, it's bad.
It's
The
rough.
original,
And it was a little bit quicker too. Like I think the software that it had, it was a little bit. The OS was a lot faster than the
It was better. It was like way better than the original. But we will see, guys. We'll talk to you in late 2024 when this thing is announced.
Stay tuned.
So, last piece of news for today, ladies and gents, and then we will move on to our in-game chat, is Nintendo is closing out the Wii U and 3DS eShop, and it's going to make the majority of Pokemon games unavailable. All right, so this one, I don't want to say it's necessarily a Rob story because I'm I like to play Pokemon and stuff like that, but I kind of want to talk to you guys about media, like virtual media as a medium, right? Like trying to purchase it and like what happens when it goes away when you can't have it anymore. So with Nintendo 3DS and Wii U shop shutting down March 27th, that's going to make the majority of Pokemon games unavailable to purchase, which means that the only way you'll be able to actually play these games now will be physical copies or emulation. But if you actually want them, like you want to go get them and have them for yourself, that's going to be the only way. Phil Salvador tweeted a graph of the percentages of Pokemon games that will not be available after March 27th. So after March 27th, you will only be able to purchase 25% of the Pokemon game catalog. That's it. I can go to buy any Mario game right now. I can go to Nintendo eShop and I could basically get any Mario game. I could buy the Nintendo, what is the thing called? Like the rehash of the system. They did it. There was the NES, the little one that you like plug in. It was like a big Christmas thing. You could get one of those. But I can go easily download Mario off of. Plus we have the Nintendo emulator shop online there. Only 22 games will be available. Only 4 of those games are mainline Pokemon games. That's not including Diamond and Pearl. So we have Scarlet and Violet, Legends Arceus, and Scarlet and Violet. So let's take a look at the graph real quick. So I could just show you guys. We could visualize.
I could pull it up here.
Pull it up for me. So 41% right now of Pokemon games are unavailable. You can't get Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green. You can't get Pokemon Emerald. You can't get Diamond. You can't get the original Diamond and Pearl. You can't get Pokemon Black and White. Like you just can't get those. You can't go to your Nintendo eShop and just purchase them. They're moving 33% more of Pokemon games after March 27th. So you can get Pokemon XY. You can't get Omega Ruby and Sapphire. You can't get Sun and Moon. Like you won't be able to play these games unless you have a 3DS. And let me tell you, the resale copies for these are pretty steep. Yeah. Talk to Benchworthy Gaming. He knows all about that.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think of this, Kel? Do you think Nintendo's kind of like why don't you add these things over to your next iteration of the eShop?
It's weird. Nintendo is a weird company. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say, I was like, so I want to see why they do this and why they can't just add these games, and how come if I'm a new player to the Pokemon, right? I'm Mavi and I want to experience the original Fire Red.
Yeah.
Right. I want to go back in time. I can't actually experience it unless I tell Papa, go buy me a used Game Boy SP and buy me the $80 cartridge that's going to cost like on the used market.
Right,
so,
right.
And then if I'm nostalgic, I feel like I want to just like go back in and play an old game. I can't.
I think it comes down to, I mean, we talked about this back when I had Nick over, when you were gone in Puerto Rico, of like video game, you know, what was it called? The when you want to preserve video game preservation,
Yeah.
right? And so is it about money? Is it Nintendo trying to, hey, let's kind of like close this shop for now and then kind of resell these later on and then make more money? I don't think that makes sense, right? Because people would buy them now, right? But then again, 3DS and Wii U, are people really going back to their 3DS and Wii U to like buy video games? I don't think so. So maybe that's what their logic is, where they shut it down to then resell these for Switch, so that way people can kind of like double dip in a sense, right? You can't play these games anymore if you have a Wii U or you have a 3DS. Sorry, you can't play these games because now you have to buy them again over on the Switch online, right? Maybe that's what they're thinking about. But again, Nintendo is weird. Nintendo does weird things, and I don't understand some of their motives, some of their marketing strategies. It's just one of those things where they don't like to play nice when it comes to making it easier for players, for consumers to grab their games and just play, or like have that like backlog of games to just kind of have in their library. It's constantly, hey, keep buying these games so that you can, continue playing these games. Otherwise, you're going to lose them. I think what they're doing now with the Switch is really awesome, right? Having that catalog of games that you can play that are nostalgic to you, right? You have Nintendo 64, you have Game Boy Advance. But again, they can shut that down at any time. Switch Pro comes out, or Switch 2, like, are you going to be able to have the same access to those games, or are they going to shut it down and do something different, So it's hard to tell. With Nintendo, it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Nintendo Online and be able to play all those old games. Like, I've already beat a couple of those games that were on there, and it makes it so easy than having to go and actually pay money and get it. Because again, I would buy those games again, but like, come on. And I think specifically it is for Pokemon, because Pokemon in its nature is, you want to be able to like trade between games and collect them all and stuff like that. They make it extremely hard to do that, and there's like 1,000 of those, 1,000 of them now. So like, say you got all of them in X and Y, like all the ones that, and then now you're playing all the student. Like, I gotta capture these same ones I already captured in this game again. Can I just transfer them over? Like, they just make it very, very, and it's specific with Pokemon, like Legend of Zelda, Mario's. They're like, we'll put on everything. We don't care. We'll do.
They have Mario Day, and they have days where, like with Mario, you can purchase a bunch of Mario games at a discounted price, and like again, you can constantly keep buying these games. But it's just a weird decision to have specifically Pokemon games just kind of like at a paywall, or just kind of like separate them from everything else.
Yeah. And Chazzy from the side project said, knowing Nintendo, you probably won't have access to old games with a Switch 2. And if we do, it'll probably come later and at a price. Yeah.
Exactly
the problem,
what I said, yeah.
And the problem is that they like to switch their OSs, and they don't like to make them work together nicely. Like, which is crazy. Does the Switch use the Amiibos? Do they work with the Switch still?
Yeah, they should. Yeah.
Yeah, which is wild to me. Like, that's a technology that's from the 3DS and Wii U, and it's still working like right now. And like, they obviously can keep things in their systems. They
decide not to.
They decide not to.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in Nintendo, right? At Nintendo, like just to see what they think, what their meetings look like, right? Like, wouldn't you love to see what process goes behind the scenes?
Nintendo can literally do whatever they want. Like, that's the crazy thing about Nintendo, is, with the exception of probably the Wii U, but the Wii U helps pave the way. And they're just confusing about it. I think they marketed that thing completely. I think the console itself wasn't terrible. It was the way they explained it. Everyone was confused about what it was. But the next one, I'm scared that it's not going to be a Switch 2. I'm scared they're going to be like VR headset.
here's the Switch here's the Switch U, and they just like they detach the Switch and make a separate screen or something. Oh my god, I don't know, man. Horror stories, but I think they've learned from the Wii U.
I don't have they. Another example is you have Nintendo 64. You go to GameCube. You're like, okay, we finally kind of have a normal controller now. It kind of makes sense. It looks good. And like, all right, we're stepping in the right direction. Like PS2, Xbox, GameCube were kind of like all very similar in a sense of like type of style you're playing. And then they're like, you know what? Here's your controller. Here's a stick.
Here's the Wii. It's wild, man. Again, yeah. Nintendo is weird. Nintendo has by far has had the most interesting looking controllers ever.
Yes.
Like they've just all like flat out just like here we're just making some crazy shit. Not ergonomic at all. Like here you are. This is just what you're gonna get. You're gonna enjoy this. Mm-hmm. Interesting. It's just fascinating.
They tried to do 3D. Literally, they were like, you know what? Fuck it. Put 3D in there. I don't care. Try it. That's why I think if there's any company that can make VR a thing, it's Nintendo.
I think. Well, Nintendo was in the VR space
with a Labo
years ago. Yes, but there was another console way before VR was even popular. I'm trying to remember if you guys Nintendo fans. If
are you talking about the Virtual Boy or something?
Yes,
like that?
Virtual Boy. Yes.
Yeah.
That was their kind of take on the VR, and obviously it failed completely. It was back in July 21st, 1995. So this is Nintendo kind of like trying to step up the game, and they're the pioneers of VR, honestly, in the gaming aspect. But yeah, man, they love to try weird shit, and if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, they just keep trying something different until it does.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. If they make it work, where like they make this inexpensive headset, right, where you and me are together, right, and we just pop these things and we're playing Super Smash Brothers, but like I do this and a fireball comes out, and I like if I pick this character, I have a sword. Like that would be ridiculous. But they could do it.
Love that. I don't see Nintendo committing to that at all.
But yeah. But Jazzy from the Side Project said they need to do what they did with Wii U with the Switch to whatever comes out next and make peripherals available for previous to next. I don't want to have to be forced to buy all new shit to play. Another example, Xbox. Mm-hmm. That's actually a good point, Jazzy. I didn't think of that. How does PS or Sony and Xbox handle preservation?
Like accessories or
no, just preservation. Like
just
how do they handle? Yeah, do they make it a little easier to like me giving access to the games? I think they do, right?
They do a little different. I think Xbox is better than Sony in a sense where they have Game Pass. You can play games, but it's kind of like a cycling kind of thing, right? You're not playing, every game that has been on Game Pass is not still physically there, right? It's still, or digitally there, I guess you should say. They kind of cycle through some games. So I think they make it easier. I think they make it a little bit more kind of consumer friendly, but I again, it's still under their supervision. You can't just play a random game that you wanted to play back in the Xbox era days and think that it's there. Like it might or might not be there, So they do it a little bit better than Nintendo, but I think there's still a lot to kind of work on when it comes to video game preservations. Especially like it's only the same thing. They do the same exact thing as Nintendo or as Xbox. So it could be better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, again, I just want to top that topic because it's a big thing, especially like that's the reason why emulation is such a big thing. Emulation would not be that big of a deal if they just released the games. You can buy them whenever you wanted to, but
yeah. And Chazzy, to your point, yes, they make it really easy to play the games that you want to play when they're there, right? When you have access to it, you can play it, on your Xbox, on your PC, and Sony's kind of following suit with that now. But if you don't have the game that you're specifically looking for there, it's kind of like you're out of luck in a sense.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely do think Xbox is probably the best out of them. That's only to be said. I think they do the best job. Again, you look at like the Master Chief Collection, and you can play Halo 1, like Halo 2, Halo 1,
Yep.
Halo 3. It's all in one little package deal for you, and that's like
Right.
the main Xbox game, right? So, guys, that concludes our news for the week. Go. Anything else before we head into in-game chat?
Yeah, I want to circle back to the PS5 discussion that we had.
Yes.
Owner B in the chat said, "Do you guys like the design of the PS5? And what would you make the PS5
I
Pro
love this question.
look like?" That's a fantastic question. Thank you. So, Rob, go ahead. You first.
Okay. I think when the PS5 first came out and you saw it on the screen, you're like, that looks sick. It looks like Alien. It looks like a router. Like, it looks really cool. And then when you realize how big and massive a behemoth that thing actually is, you're like, it doesn't look as cool anymore. I thought it was going to be. Like, it's almost like worn its novelty in a sense. Like, it's still a very good-looking console, but now, like, the newness faded away. I'm seeing, like, damn, this thing's freaking huge, right? Like, it doesn't look elegant if you're trying to keep like a minimalistic space, like, and you have like cramped desk space. It doesn't work that well. What do you think? What's the design?
I disagree. I disagree flat out. I think it's elegant. It is massive. It is massive. If they made a smaller version of it, it's beautiful. You know, I think it's bold. It's bold, and I keep turning my head because I just want to keep looking at it.
I literally have it in front of me right now.
Yeah, so mine's just kind of on the side, but yeah, it's bold. It's big. It's loud. It's out there, right? And if you're trying to be like a minimalist, and you're trying to kind of like be very, just reserved, but this is just on top of your desk. It does kind of like feel like a sore thumb, but it's clean, man. It has
it
like
is
these
clean,
sharp edges, but it looks kind of intimidating. But at the same time, it's futuristic looking, and it's also very elegant in a way too. Like, it's scary, but also like elegant. It's weird. I think
you have your standing up or flat down.
Rob, you can't, like, if you have yours like horizontal, you're a psychopath. You need to have yours.
Oh, it's vertical. Mine's vertical. Yeah, it's impossible. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, even putting it down, there's no space. I can't put that thing down.
Right.
I can't.
Yeah.
Like, even if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do want to give a special shout out to the PS5 Slim. I think the PS5. I'm sorry. The PS5. No, the one without.
You know something I don't know.
The digital version. Digital version
Okay.
doesn't have the disc. I think that version looks better than the disc version because you have like these nice lines, and all of a sudden you have this bulging little like disc slot. I don't know the last time I put a disc in this fucking thing. I don't think I've ever put a disc in it.
I 100% agree, dude. If looking back, if I could have done it differently, I would have bought the digital.
The all digital.
Yeah. Because I'm like, you know what? I have other games. I have PS4 games. I can probably, plop it in there and play some. I'm never going to fucking do that shit. I'm never going to play Kingdom Hearts 3 on my shit. Like, unless they do something drastically different, or like a drastic DLC that I want to play it. So yeah, it was like a waste of $100 there for me. But it just, I don't know, man. Me personally, I think it's a great looking console. As far as like what would I like to see for the PS5 Pro, I agree with you that the PS5 is a little big. I would like it to be a little toned down, maybe like 30% smaller, right? And just kind of reduce the size of it a little bit more. But as far as the way it looks, man, I can see them keeping it the same way, but instead of having these like sharp edges, just round them out a little bit, just round out the edges and then make it smaller. And then people will be like, yeah, that's your PS5 Pro.
I want them to do what they did with the PS4 Pro, where literally they just like stacked another PS4 on top. They just stack another PS5 on top and have 3 fins instead of 4 fins instead. Like, make it look, just go with the ridiculousness. Like, this is what it's with, whatever.
Yep. That's
I'm gonna show you, what Xbox has competing with it. Sony does. Oh God, can I get this thing up? Oh God, you guys are like, what's happening right now? I'm lifting up an Xbox. Xbox Series X. You're like, Rob, you don't have an Xbox Series X.
I was like, wait, I'm like, I'm so confused. Oh, your fucking fridge?
Yeah, this is the refrigerator.
I hate you. I hate that
look
you
at
bought
this
that.
thing. Like, this is basically the Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Like, as if I had, but just bigger. Like, this thing sucks.
I don't feel any sympathy because I told you, man, don't buy that thing. I told you do not buy it. And you're
No,
like,
no,
yeah,
I'm saying I'm not saying that like obviously this cooler sucks. The thing I'm holding is like it's the fake Xbox Series X cooler that Xbox came out with. It was Target exclusive, and I bought it like an idiot. Don't buy it; it's a shitty cooler. But I'm saying the design of the Xbox Series X is why I'm grabbing it compared to the PS5.
Yeah, the design of it, I mean, that's why you have that in your hand, right? A lot of people, when it first came out, they were kind of comparing it to a fridge, and so hence why
Now we have a fridge.
you have a fridge.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like appealing to the eyes. I feel like, you know.
Okay.
It
How
looks
do you
like
make a pro version of this thing?
You have one already. You know what I mean?
They're just like, you know, all the leftover fridges we got. Just put them in. Just put the internals in there. Yep, that's it. Just make it bigger.
Yeah. I mean, the Series S is the downsized version of it, right? But if they maybe kind of tailor it more to how the Series S looks, and then just improve on the, you know, stats on that, maybe, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, I think I actually would like a PS4, PS5 Pro, but like more like square. Like I don't really like the angles as much. I don't know why. It's just a lot.
I think this is a great way to transition, Rob.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
you're
Oh, yeah.
hosting. But
Yeah.
Chazzy says, okay, wait. Speaking of designs, then, after you answer Ona's question, of course, do you guys have a favorite console design of all time?
And that,
if you
folks,
can't choose one, go to top 2.
That's so funny that you said that because that is literally our in-game chat for this
That
week.
is hysterical.
So let's move on to in-game chat. Kelvin, for in-game chat this week, Chaz, you already spoiled it, but we're going to decide what is the best design, or your opinion, the best designed console of all time. You could pick any console you want. Doesn't matter, right? But in your opinion, what is the best? If you say the PS5, I'm going to slap you. You're going to say the PS5. You're going to say the PS5, aren't you, motherfucker? Yes, you will. I knew I was going to say PS5.
Do you want me to start, or do you want to start?
You start. What
Okay.
you, in your opinion, and I will say, maybe depending on how off we go, maybe you get extra one. But what did you think is the best one? He's gonna say PS5, guys. He's gonna say the PS5.
I'm
He's gonna
not
say PS5.
actually.
Okay.
I'm thinking. So
He sticks the fans up in his ass.
console,
That's what he
console, not hard, not handheld, right?
does. Anything goes. Anything goes. Any console, any handheld console, just gaming thing.
Gaming device.
Gaming device. Yes.
Well, keeping it with the whole theme of Sony, I loved, and I'm in the minority when I say this. I love the PS3 design, the OG PS3 design.
Oh.
I love the piano black. I know it was a magnet when it comes to like just fingerprints and when it came to like dust and all that stuff, but I loved how clean that thing looked, and it was bulky as hell, right? But when it came to just like that piano black, it stood up. It stood like really bold, and I loved the logo, right? Like that kind of like that Spider-Man kind of PS3 logo design. Everything about it, I loved. I loved everything about it. And then they did the PS3. Was it the PS3 Slim?
They did a PS3 Slim, and then they did a PS3 Ultra Slim.
They butchered the PS3 Slim. Looked dope. I thought.
No,
Pretty
I
sure.
thought it was
No?
ugly. I thought
I'm
it
thinking
was
about the
ugly.
PS. Regardless, the PS3 OG was my favorite. And then as far as console or handheld go, I would probably say the SP is probably one of my
The
favorite.
SP is the best one, you think? Like,
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I like the Vita, but nah. And then I liked Game Boy Advance was cool, but I think the SP was the one to. Yeah, no, that's Dookie. That's terrible, dude. The
Yeah,
PS3, no.
yeah, that's pretty
terrible.
bad. That's really bad. And I hated the way that you place the discs in. Why can I zoom in? That's weird. The way you place discs inside the PS3 Ultra Slim, you had to like pop this piece off. Like it slid up, and then you like placed the PS3 down. And I was like, it doesn't feel good. Like, give me the suction cup. Like, I want the suction.
Yeah, I like the suction.
Yes,
so PS3 OG. That's me.
Yeah, it was a beautiful console. I will say, even like the way that the opening screen, like of the OS, where it was like, dun, it made it seem like you were going into like a black tie event or something like that, and the PS3 was dressed for it.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was ahead of its time too. Like the buttons were touchscreen, and
Yes.
that was never done before. You know, it just felt so like, you know, expensive. You know,
It did feel premium. Like when you did buy it, you were like, this thing's $600, but it feels like it's $600, and it is a big boy. It was heavy.
yes.
But maybe they go back to some type of this. That's what kind of reminds me of the PS5 right now. It kind of reminds me of that design, but like futuristic of this design. Like just like it like had like an evolution, like a Pokemon. Like this is its second form. That's what the PS5 reminds me of.
The OS was terrible though. OS was
it was bad.
I mean, the cross media bar thing was cool for a hot minute, but then it definitely showed its age once you got to the PS4 for sure.
And then you have the PS or the Game Boy SP. You said was another one for you, all right? I mean, this thing is, if you were to take just like a perfect handheld on the go with you, this thing is just, you can't beat it, really. It's just so easy. It fits into your pocket. It lights up. The battery's great on it. It doesn't have an audio jack, which is kind of dumb for this time.
That's dumb.
You had to like get a special adapter to hook it up. So leave it to Nintendo to pull an Apple on us,
To
right?
mess that up, right?
Yeah, right. What I did love about the Game Boys though is like the amount of fun colors you could do. Like, I really wish Nintendo would bring that back more. I feel like the Switch kind of cheats because it's like, just put the Joy-Cons on and changes the color, you know? And it's just like, no.
Brilliant idea, but what's your favorite? Like, what do you think?
I'm just gonna read this comment from Jazzy. He said, "Damn, Rob, with a sultry description of the PS3 there. Nice. Martha Stewart is wet somewhere right now for sure." Yep.
Nice.
There she is.
Somewhere.
PS2, Chazzy. I want to say, let's look up the PS2 design. I don't think that's the best looking one.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
what is special about this? It's nostalgic. I'll give you that.
100%.
But like, it's okay. I never thought the PS2 was an attractive console.
No, I didn't think so either. Yeah, no, nothing about it was attractive. I think the intro, right? The again, like you said, it's nostalgic. It's nostalgic in so many ways. So, but I didn't think anything about it besides.
Right, like
I didn't look at it. I just I played my PS2 games and that was it. Like I barely looked at it.
Do you like the slim version of it though? Do you like the slim version better than the original? No. Looks like a toy to you.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate everything about it.
Wow, you hate everything about it.
Everything about it. I hate its existence. I just don't like it. I like the PS2 OG better.
You know what? Now who's talking sultry? Just those lines, those engraved indentations or whatever. I don't know. It just stands out to me. There's one thing that annoyed me about the PS2, Kelvin, and that was they advertised the living shit out of it with the stand.
And you never get the stand.
And you never get the stand. You had to buy it separately. And it wasn't easy to find. So that's annoying. Whereas PS5 gave it a stand.
Did you knew that you can like flip the logo, right, when you stand it vertically?
Yes,
Okay.
but it took
a lot
me
of
a very
people
long
did
time.
it for some. Okay.
I do want to see for the next iteration of Sony's new console, the PS6. I want them to bring the flippable sign back.
Okay.
I want it somewhere. I want the OG sign somewhere.
I want the color again, the color scheme that they had. I like that. That was one of the cool things that they did with the PS4. The one of the like
Special editions,
limited editions or special edition consoles, they did that. That was like a really cool 20th anniversary, I think it was, or something like that. I don't know.
Yep.
That was nice. That was cool. That was clean.
We did a video on that, so you guys should watch that. We go through every single PS4 limited edition and rank them. It was a pretty fun video. It's on our channel. Go check it.
Really great. Really great video. Yep.
Real quick, the one I picked for my favorite design console, I'm gonna have to say it was the GameCube. That thing was just so cool. That thing was just so like, it was fun. It just, you looked and it was like, that looks fun to play.
I love the handle.
The handle.
I would never move it anywhere. It would still stay underneath my stand, but it's nice to just have a handle on it for some reason. They made it pretend like it's like a portable thing when it's not.
Exactly. They were like, it's portable, and it's just like, I think when you would like go play Super Smash Brothers at your friend's house, I think that's when it became portable. Like everyone would bring their GameCube over and grab the thing. But I feel like a lot of people had GameCubes, so
yeah. I think what really elevated the GameCube was the discs. The discs were
the mini disc. Yeah.
So fucking cool, dude.
That
like,
was
I
cool.
love that. I love that. Each one had like a really cool design too, like depending on the game. Super Smash Bros. Melee had a really nice clean design. But the discs were so like dope, man. They were so cool. I love that.
I want to see like I want to look at like the disc. Yeah, I see it. This is the one right here.
Yeah, man. And then the controller. The controller was top notch, dude. Obviously, people know that. People still use the controller till this day, and there's so many iterations of it now for the Switch, right? I think you even told me that you wanted to pre-order one that was kind of like a Switch adaptation of it for the GameCube.
Right here. I think we just saw an image of it. There it is, right there. I ordered this.
Oh, you did? You did order it? Yeah.
I ordered this.
I mean, you can't go wrong, man. That is top notch. That is peak game or peak controller design for sure.
Yeah, so I'm excited to get my hands on it. I will be doing like a little review for you guys once I get it to let you know if you should get this thing. I think it was around $50 or $60 for it. I don't know when I'm getting it. They just said we'll mail when we have it. We'll give it to you. So I'm like, okay,
all right.
So
2028.
But yeah, the GameCube is just they thought outside the box of the GameCube.
Literally, yeah, I love it, love it. Elder Trolls Gaming Podcast says that it looks like a lunchbox.
It does.
Yeah,
It's a cute little lunchbox.
it does. You're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah. Last one is my favorite handle, or I think the best design handheld, and it's gonna be a surprise to you, Kelv. I think was the PlayStation Vita.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You like the design of the Vita? Okay.
I loved the design of the Vita. I thought that one was, if you're talking about perfect handheld,
I don't know, man.
it was. You had just enough screen, but not too much screen. It fit nicely in your hand, had two joysticks. It wasn't big enough to where like you couldn't put in your pocket or bag anywhere. There was, again, the shit part about it was the software on it, right? But
yeah.
I wish I had one of these things right now and I can emulate and play like Metroid Zero Mission on it right now, because sometimes, I'll be honest with you, the Steam Deck is too big. It's too big. I don't want it, right? Even Nintendo Switch sometimes, like if I'm playing just like a little game like Metroid Fusion or like a GBA game or emulating something, I don't need like all that real estate. I just want something that I can just like put in my pocket and just like take with me. And I know they kind of did, the Switch Lite is close to it, but it's not the same.
Yeah. I almost picked the Vita, but the only thing with the Vita, I think it was ahead of its time, and it was too elegant for what it was. Like for a handheld, I didn't want it to be that elegant.
I love that it was elegant. I love it. It felt like I'm holding this thing that I can just take with me anywhere, and it feels good every time I'm touching it. It just feels like a treat every single time, and it's so. It was such a good
I didn't like the thumbsticks though. I didn't like the thumbsticks. I think they were concaved a little bit, so it felt weird to. Like for multiple hours at a time, it just didn't feel comfortable. I remember moving my hands a lot just to like kind of readjust them. And then like you were mentioning putting it in your pocket. I would never put that thing in my pocket because it is too elegant to like have that in my pocket. Otherwise, I'm gonna scratch it and
you buy a little case around it. You put a little case around it.
Then you're not putting it in your pocket at that point.
Okay, you put it in your freaking Janko jeans at the time, right? I think those are still a thing during that. You just put in your little cargo pant pocket, whatever, and you're good to go. So
yeah, but that's the reason why I didn't choose. And then, like you said, the OS was atrocious. I hated the bubble system that they had, but
that was dumb.
That the Vita did introduce us to Persona 4, so. You can't hate on it. So
I think that was it. I think when I had your Vita and I was playing Persona 4, it sold me on it because I couldn't get my hands off of, and the Vita made it a good time. Like the Vita made it such like a fantastic, like imagine Persona 4 on like something like 3DS. No, like this to me, I think that is like the pinnacle of like handheld. To have everything you want, like the resolution of the screen, the quality you want. I think it's just, and it had like even motion on the back. Remember?
I never
like
used it.
Yeah,
That's the
they
thing.
had
It's
it.
like a lot of gimmicky stuff. A lot of gimmicky stuff that I'd never use. So it took a lot of points from that. So that's why the SP for me, it's like it's simple. It did what it did. It fits in your pocket. You flip it up. We talked about this, and it's just like peak handheld.
Before we wrap up here, Kelv, guys, if you want to let us know in the comments right now what is your favorite console or you think is the best design console, please let us know.
And if you're an audio listener, if you're listening to Spotify, you can definitely just send us a message as well in Spotify when we post the question. So check that out as well on Spotify.
Yeah, we'll do that. Anything else before we cut the podcast and go our separate ways? I know we're going to be doing something fun this weekend, just me and you.
Yeah, man, we're going to CT Gamers Con over here, we're in my neck of the woods in Connecticut. Never been there. Crazy because I live maybe an hour away from the convention, but this is going to be my first time. Obviously it's going to be your first time, so it's going to be cool to see what they do and what the space they have there to check out. And yeah, we'll see what they have. I can't really promise too much. I don't know what they're going to have as far as games go, as far as like announcements or anything like that, but it'll be cool to just check out. Yeah,
and we're going to have our buddy there, Brian McElmore. We actually interviewed him. We had him as a guest on the show. So we will see him there. He'll be doing autographs and have a whole booth. David Hayter's also going to be there. So I'm going to fangirl out a little bit when I see him. So
yeah, man. I am excited because we have a chance to see the homie David Hayter. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to say. We'll see. But it's going to be really cool to see.
You think it'd be cool if I just like went up to him and started hugging him? You think you'd be okay with that?
Don't do that, no.
Okay. All right. What if I just start rolling in like Solid Snake, like just like keep doing somersaults towards him?
I'm sure he's seen that multiple times.
I think you're right. People army crawling towards him.
Yeah, he's seen that plenty of times. You don't have to do it again.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Just say hi to him. Just say fucking hi to him, like a normal human being.
Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're an audio listener, thank you for listening. If you can, guys, please, we really appreciate it if you could just go onto your favorite streaming services, leave us a 5-star review. Like, that helps. It takes you to Spotify's super, right? It's easy. You just hit 5, done.
Well, weird. They have to, like, listen to us for 30 seconds or a minute or something like that. But you guys have been. I'm sure you have. But
yeah. Just hit the review. Just hit 5 stars. Come on, we would appreciate it. And yeah, like I said, we have exciting things coming up. They're coming up really soon here. Like we're getting ready to announce this stuff, and it's really awesome. Like I can't tell you. Like I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah. It's awesome for us too, just because we're doing things a little different and we're kind of like showing things that we've been working on. So stay tuned for that. And again, we've talked about PAX coming. So we're going to CT Comic-Con, or not Comic-Con, CT Gamers Con this week. Yep. And then next weekend, we're going to go to PAX, which is going to be huge, right? We're going to be like really into the, hopefully interviewing a lot of indie developers there and kind of seeing what they have to offer, announcing some of their projects and stuff like that. So stay tuned, and we'll kind of roll out some of the announcements and some of the content there as we go.
Yeah, loads of new content coming out to you guys, these next coming weeks. So please stay tuned. It is a good time to be listening to the Gaming Duo podcast. That's all I have for you guys this week. Have a good day. Kelvin, thank you so much. I'll see you in a bit. And
yes.
Thank you guys.
See you guys.